If you have questions along the way, feel free to pop them into chat. But we're going to start off with Jody, who is going to make some eggs. I don't know what you're doing, Jody, so I'm going to spotlight you.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. My name's Jody Blake. I am doing a few modes for you tonight. The first mode that I'm going to show you is the egg boiler mode. And then I'm going to get into some honeycomb as well. So I'm going to move my camera over so you can see the screen of my Thermomix while I set up the egg boiler mode. If you can put in the chat whether you have a TM6, whether this is the first time you've seen it, if you have the TM6 and you love the egg boiler mode, let us know. We love it when the chat has heaps of conversation. So yeah, just have a chat in there. I'm going to bring you over nice and close. Kate, can you just come off mute and tell me that you can see my screen?
Yep, we can see.
All right, so this is the main screen of the TM6, and I'm just going to swipe my screen now. You can see all of our modes here. We've got quite a few, and then our new peeler mode that just came this week. The mode I'm going to show you right now is the egg boiler mode. And just before we go in, basically all of our modes have this little instruction page that sort of tells you what you can and can't do. So I'm just going to cook 2 eggs straight from the fridge without the simmering basket. I'm going to put in 1 litre of water and then choose how I want my eggs cooked. So I just click on the cross up here, and you can see here that when I turn this dial, it will then, I can choose how I want my eggs done. So I'll just move you back a little bit and you can see me here. So I'm just going to fill to the 1 litre mark with some water. So, oh, sorry, I'm going to put my eggs in first. There we go. So I've just got 2 eggs. I'm going to pop them in the bottom of the bowl, and then I'm just going to fill up. So it's basically covering the blades. And the 1 litre mark is like the first little notch inside of the bowl. I don't know if you can see, my lighting isn't that great tonight. Sorry about that. And I'm just going to pop on my lid, and then I'm going to turn it to medium soft. And the lid will close. We'll have a little feel around in there, and it'll tell me at about 10 minutes I've got for my eggs to cook. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to my honeycomb. So I'm using guided cooking for this. This is a high heat mode, so you can only use this mode within guided cooking. And if I scroll the screen, it has all of my ingredients and then the method there. How's that visibility? There we go. And I'm just going to go up to the top of the screen and then click start cooking. In the high heat mode, when we're using sugar, it tells us that we really should be using all the right ingredients so that we get the best results possible. It tells me to line a cake tin. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use something different. And then I'm going to start weighing in my ingredients. So here we go. All right. Now, the recipe says white sugar. I just use raw sugar. It's the only sugar that I have. And I'm going to put in 300 grams. Now, I've done this heaps of times with the raw sugar, and I know that it works really well. Oh, a little bit extra. I just want to take that out because we want to do what it says. Yeah, oh, perfect. 300 grams. Okay. Then we want 80 grams of water. There we go. How's my visibility, Kate? Is it all right?
Yeah, so we can't see your screen anymore, but we can see what you're putting into the bowl.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'm just getting 80 grams of water in. There we go. And then we want 20 grams of honey. So I've just got honey. I'm just going to put that in. And then without the measuring cup, take that out. Now it's got, it says 22 minutes. So I know from making this recipe a few times that reducing the time to 18 minutes makes a perfect honeycomb. So reducing it to 18 minutes, make a note of that if you're going to do this with your TM6 later. And when we're in a mode, all we need to do is just turn the dial one little notch and it will do whatever it is programmed to do within that mode. So I'm just going to turn my dial, and when my 18 minutes is up, I will spotlight myself. I will interrupt whoever is cooking at the time so that I can show you the next step of the honeycomb, because it's not something that you can wait. You need to get there. So I'm going to take my spotlight off now, Kate, and go to whoever's next.
Thanks, Jody. Next up, we're going to go over to Elman.
Hi everyone. So the two modes of cooking that I'm going to show you is basically the rice cooker mode, and we're going to show you the sous vide as well. Right, so I'm just going to start the rice cooker mode. So it's really quite easy. Jody showed you where you can find it. So you click on the recipe and you just say start cooking. Now, usually you put the basket on top of the Thermomix, weigh your rice in there, and you can decide how much rice you want to do that. So if you want 4 portions, what I'm doing at the moment, so then you just have 300 grams of rice that you weigh in there, and you're going to use 500 grams of water. And then you rinse the rice really until the water runs clear so that there's no starch in it. And then once that's done, you pop it inside the bowl, like I've done here. So the rinsed rice is in there, just right straight in the bowl. And then we're going to add our water. Right. So I'm just going to add 500 grams of water because I've got 300 grams of rice in there. And you can make rice for just 2, 4 or 6 people. All right, about 500. And then I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of salt and oil, about 7 grams of oil. A little bit more, doesn't matter. A half a teaspoon of salt. Then we're going to put the simmering basket instead of the measuring cup in there because we want the liquid to reduce in the bowl itself. So we're going to just pop it in there. And then the rice cooker mode is there for you, and you just turn the dial and off it goes. That's cooking. Right. So while the rice is cooking, I'm just going to talk a little bit about sous vide. Right. So the sous vide is basically a slow cook in a water bath. Now, I've decided to show you tonight is the kangaroo steaks that you can sous vide in there. All right. So what I've done my kangaroo steaks, salt and pepper, and I put a sprig of rosemary on there. So this one is Ziploc bag, and I'll show you how to seal that. And just make sure the Ziploc bags or the plastic bags that you are using is BPA free. Right, so because you don't want that to come in contact with food. And then we've got our vacuum sealer bags that you have in here that you can find on the mix shop as well. And I've got the little vacuum sealer here that you can seal it quickly in there. Now, you will see when you purchase your bags, you will have a little white thingy that you get, and that helps to seal the bag totally, right? Because if your bag is not sealed and there's a gap in there, the vacuum sealer won't work. Right, so I'm just going to pop it down here that you can see how that works. So just pop it in there and just press the sealer over it and switch it on. And that will take it all the air out of it. And if it doesn't do that, that means your bag is not sealed properly, like mine is not sealed. So all I do is just pop that back in here. Make sure that the bag is tightly sealed and try again. Oh, so that's basically, oh, there you go. There you go. And that takes out all the air of that. And it's quite a handy little sealer that you can have in your drawer and have that done. So you can see it's now nicely vacuum packed that you have in there, that they're ready to be sous vide. Now, if you do not have a little vacuum sealer that you also can get on the mix shop, then you use it just a Ziploc bag. What I usually do is I just press as much air out of there as I possibly can, slide it over and just leave a little gap at the end. And this you submerge in water. So I found that if I put a bowl of water into my bowl of Thermomix bowl, you just press it down and the water will sort of press out all the air. Just make sure that there's no water coming into the bag and seal it. And there you go. You've got a sealed Ziploc bag that you can put the sous vide in there. So that is nicely sealed. And all you need to do now is go to your recipe and start cooking. And you will see they will tell you all of the things exactly how you need to do it. So this one, it says steaks and kangaroo steaks, and put that pepper and salt on it, which we've done. And then 2 fillets in one bag. That's what I've done. And then what you need to do is put these sous vide bags inside the bowl and fill it up with water until the bags are covered, but don't go over the 2-liter mark. Right. So once that's done, you take it out. And it even shows you how to insert the blade cover in there. So the blade cover is put in there. The seal bags is done. So I've done the water in there. So I will just pop it in. Just make sure that both of them can fit in there, and make sure that the
Elman,
yes.
can I just interrupt you for a second? Is it possible to turn off your Thermomix that's cooking the rice, just because it's interfering with the sound a little bit, and hopefully that will be a bit better for everyone.
Better. All right. So basically what I do is I just pop the sous vide bags in there, make sure that the sous vide bags goes inside the bowl, that it doesn't affect your lid when you put it on there. Right. And once you've added the water and it's submerged in water, you see there's enough water, you take that out and then you heat the water up. All right. So once you put that back in there, the next step will be remove the bags and add lemon juice, which I've done already. So 30 grams of lemon juice or vitamin C acid that you can put in there, because when you do slow cooking for a long time or you do sous vide for a long time, you need to have some acid in there. Otherwise, it will oxidize your blades and your blades will go black. So that's why you need to put that in there. So once that's done, insert the measuring cup and it will tell you it needs to heat up to 50 degrees. And that's going to take about 10, 15 minutes. And when that's done, I'm going to add the bags in there, and that will sous vide for about 45 minutes. And once that is done, this is what it will look like. 45 minutes. So if you can have a look at those. So once you take it out of the sous vide bags, this one you will see, I took out of the sous vide bag and I just patted it dry, right? So you can see it looks really rare, and it's fine, because kangaroo steaks you need to have rare. And then what you do, you heat up a little bit of butter and you sear the steaks on both sides for about 40 seconds to a minute, and you will get that perfect sous vide, and it will be delightful and soft and juicy. Look at that. Right, can you see that? It's just a perfect sous vide steak. So there's a little bit red in the middle, but cooked all sides. And that just melts in your mouth. So basically you can cut that up and you can either put it with your favorite sides, or you can just eat it like that, or put it in on top of a salad, and you will have a beautiful, delightful meal that is healthy and scrumptious. And that's me.
Thanks, Elman. I think you're going to be eating kangaroo for the next few days.
Oh, but that's so nice. You can eat it all sorts of ways.
It looks beautiful. Thanks, Elman. We're going to go over now to Megan. It's going to slow cook.
We are, yeah. So I've had the pleasure of showing you how the slow cook function works. So obviously that's something I had to get started a little bit earlier. I'm just going to I'll tilt that down so you can see it in a minute. So to use the slow cook today, I've actually got my blade cover in, and I've got a whole piece of Sous-Vide sitting in my bowl. Now the purpose of the blade cover with the slow cooker is so that you can have bigger pieces of meat or chunks of meat. You might have meatballs or chicken drumsticks or something like that. And they won't actually get cut up by the blades, because the blades will be turning the liquid. So the liquid still moves around what's in the slow cooker, but your meat can sit on top. And so I've had this going for a couple of hours now. And I actually chose to do a silver side so that I could show you how I did it manually. So there are lots of slow cook recipes and blade cover recipes in Cookie Do, which you can search just by typing in slow cook or blade cover. or by searching for those in the collections. But I thought I'd do something manually so that you know that you can do that too. So I'm just going to put the computer down so you can see the Thermomix a little bit better. I don't know if the light's going to let us actually see the screen. Can you see that a little bit? Okay, so we're in the slow cook mode. So I think Jody showed us the modes at the beginning, but over here in slow cook, and I preset 2.5 hours and 95 degrees and just turned it on. And so my silver side has been in there. I added some peppercorns, some cloves, a couple of teaspoons of brown sugar, a dash of malt vinegar, a couple of bay leaves, and then covered it all with water. And that's just been sort of poaching away. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So there we go. So that was 1.5 kilos. So you can do a fairly decent sized piece of silver side in your slow cooker, in your Thermomix as a slow cooker. Sorry, I've just got to grab the knife. Just show you how beautifully that all cuts away. So really nice and tender, and still a big portion of silver side in there. Now I've got the pleasure of showing you something else, which is a little bit newer even than the slow cook function. So what we're going to do, actually, I'm going to put that back in there. While we do this, keep warm. Now I get to show you the new peeler. So over in our modes again, we've got this new peeler mode, which hopefully you've seen pop up at, where do we go? Hopefully you saw pop up at your last update. All right, and so the peeler mode is used with our new peeler blade cover. So you won't have this in your hot hands yet, but hopefully lots of you have pre-ordered it. And so once it comes, this is how you use it. And this is the same with the plastic blade cover, which I use for the slow cook. So it just sits in the middle on top of your blade. All right, and it's got these little ridges. So when it's used in a clockwise direction, it will peel. And when it's used in an anti-clockwise direction, it will be gentle stirring like the blade cover for the slow cook. So that just sits in there. We pop in our potatoes. So no more than 600 grams. So I'll just bring up my scales. No more than 800 grams, sorry, and then no more than 600 grams of water we're going to add to that. Oops. Oops. All right, so I'll go back to my peeler mode. And I just give that one little click and turn that on. Now that's suggesting 4 minutes, but it would be anywhere between 2 and 4 minutes, depending on how much we've got in there. So I'll check it at 2, but this is going to be a little bit noisy. So I think you're going to come back to me in a minute and I'll show you the final version.
Wonderful. So we're coming up with the, we're doing a sticky chai now. So I'm Elizabeth Harvey, I'm team leader for Wollongong, and this is one of my absolute favourite recipes. I think,
one sec, Elizabeth. Hold
Thanks,
on,
Kate. You trying to find me?
Oh, your kettle blend scale. I'm looking for Elizabeth.
Oh, that's tricky. Yeah, I've got a new name.
Yeah, you're good now.
All right, wonderful. Okay, so yeah, so we're doing the, it's called the wet vanilla chai. It's a sticky chai recipe. And so the recipe is on Cookie Dough. And what this recipe does is makes enough, it probably makes about 150 grams or so, enough to fill a decent sized jar. So this, I've actually doubled the recipe here. So that's 2 recipes worth in there, and it lasts in the fridge. So how I use this, I have one of these pretty much every day. So you make a lot, and then when you're coming to reheat it, it's either in the recipe, but to pull a recipe up and you know, get to the right part because you make the chai at the beginning can be a little bit annoying. So I like to use the mode. So I'll be showing you how I do that. I'm just going to move my screen a little. Okay, so we're just pressing the, first up, we want to use the scales. Now there is a little trick for this because it is 500 grams for this recipe. It makes about 2 cups. So we can just weigh that in. I've actually got some already in there with the scale mode, nice and easy. I'm sure you all know that. The other thing that I just want to show you is something you may not have realized is there's divots down the side of the bowl. You can see them on this side. So if you're pretty new to the Thermomix, the first dot is 500 ml mark and the next one is a 1 litre mark. So for this one, you don't even actually need to use your scales. You can just look at the dot in there and fill it up. So then we're just putting in a tablespoon of our beautiful sticky chai mix. And then what I do is use the, you did not, Jody.
I so did. I did.
That's
I'm going to have a look at my bowl right now.
All right. So now we're just going on to the kettle mode. This is so easy. So we just click the kettle and then choose your temperature that you want. So I like about 70 for my chais. I use an oat milk. So just whichever milk you use will have a different temperature. So we just choose the temperature and then turn the dial and off it goes. So you can see the little marker at the top is 50. That's the temperature of the milk in the bowl at the moment. And it's 70 down the bottom. So once it's done that, then what I do is I'll tell you why I use this heat mode. Because sometimes my milk might have come off the shelf because I use a UHT oat milk. Sometimes it's out of the fridge. So it's different temperatures, you know, every day. And I don't have to guess how long it's going to take and I don't need to overcook it. So by choosing the 70 degrees, it will automatically just turn off once it's done. So I really like that. The kettle mode is also great if you're wanting to go camping or caravanning with your Thermomix. It's one less thing that you need to take. And the warm up mode, which is just next to it, is very similar. But with that one, you're putting your food in, and it means that I don't have a microwave and I use that warm up mode all the time, just for reheating curries and things. So you just choose your temperature. About 80 degrees is quite good for a main meal, and off you go. Just spin the dial and your food just dings when it's ready. So that's it. That's a nice one. All right. Then what I won't show you is straining this chai mix out. So I'll just show you what we do next, which is go across to the blend mode. And what you've got is your timer set. So you can choose your timer and it goes up to about speed 8 once we turn this. So yes, someone said hot chocolate. I didn't see the full comment. Totally great for hot chocolate. Just put your milk in and your chocolate and off it goes. All right, so then I like to blend this. So you'll strain it first and then turn it up to blend. I'll just show you these quickly and then I'll stop it. So up to speed 8. So then that goes. You'll go slowly up. So there we go. There you've got your blend mode there. I think a perfectly frothy cup. I think his speed ate for about 20 seconds. And then if I've gotten distracted, which normally is what has happened, I then just come back over to that kettle mode and take it back to the temperature that I want it. So depending if the kids are having it or if I'm having it, you know, I might serve out the kids one and then heat it up there. So that's how those modes work. They're really, really, really simple, but I think the simple ones often we don't go and try because, you know, they're not very challenging, but they're super useful. So go ahead and give them a go. Jody, how much time does your...
There's like 30 seconds. So
okay, let's go to the honeycomb then. Yeah.
Go to the honeycomb. I'm gonna spotlight me. Okay, let's see if I can show you inside my bowl. Got my torch. We're at, can you see, Kate? How's my light?
It's not great, but
no, it's not going to work. I'm trying with my phone torch and my camera and it's not working, but we're nearly there. All right. So in a second, it's going to come out. 11 seconds I've got. And what I'm going to do is I've got some bicarb here. I want a tablespoon of that. You need it to be not lumpy at all. So I've just sifted it up. All right. So it is quite bubbly in there. There we go. I'm going to put in my tablespoon of bicarb, and you've got to work really quickly here and stir it around until it gets nice and frothy and it changes color. And then you pour it into your mold. Be careful, don't touch it. It's hot and we don't want to burn any fingers. And you need to work really quickly because it will just start to stick to the bowl, stick to your spatula, stick to the top. There we go. And get as much as you can out using your spatula and into your mold. Right, there we go. Now, the next step is to use the pre-clean. So you want to put in 1,000 grams of water, and it's part of this recipe is the water. You can't see me, can you? There we go. Oh, there we go. So you want to fill it up with water. You won't get this off without using the pre-clean mode. So it is part of this recipe, but and then we want 50 grams of vinegar. I'm going to pop that in. There we go. And then lid on. And then we're just going to turn it on. So now in the pre-clean, it's working out how dirty, how sticky it is in the bottom. It's saying about 5 minutes, and then it will come up nice and clean. It will melt all that honeycomb off. Now you can see that I've got this in my mold here, and I'm just going to give it a little bit of a tap, but mostly I'm just going to leave it now, and that will set by the end of the class, and I'll be able to break it up. So I'll just pop that aside, but then I want to show you my eggs. There we go, my eggs. So I popped one already, and so it's kind of cooked a little bit more, but I want to show you this cool little egg topper. You can get these in our mix shop. You just pop your egg into your egg cup and you pull up and then pull down, and it just cracks off the top of your egg. So you don't have to try and break it off, and then you've got your perfect medium soft boiled eggs. These have cooked a little bit extra because they've been sitting. So if I had have shown you straight away, then they would be nice and runny. Let's see how they are. And then we can go back to the next person. Yeah, they've just cooked a little bit extra while we've been sitting here. So, all right, who's next?
Are you ready to show us your potatoes, Megan? All right.
I'll show you my spuds. So it looks like I filled it up with dishwashing liquid, and it got all bubbly from all the starch in the potatoes, but I can assure you that I didn't. And I stopped it after 3 minutes. And I'll just grab a potato, and I'm just rinsing it in some water so I can show you that it's perfectly peeled. But what I really like is it's kind of got a fluffy, rough texture to it. So if you're going to roast these, they're going to have that beautiful crunchy texture on the outside when they get hit with the oil and the high heat. So that's really nice. But of course, you can still just use them for anything now, to mash or whatever you're going to do with them. But all the peel is off. And I can just tip all of that. I'd probably just tip that straight into my simmering basket and just run some water over it, over the sink, and just give them a quick rinse. But they're all nice and peeled. How good's that? Are we excited? Is anyone excited about that? I'm excited. Peeling's a boring job, especially if you've got dirty potatoes. So imagine being able to do your dirty potatoes and your beetroot if you don't want purple fingers. All right, that's all I've got for you.
Thanks, Megan. I'm excited for the peeler for Christmas time when I make potato salad.
Yes, yes, awesome.
All right, we're going to move over to Mary next. So I'll just.
I'm here.
Yes.
I can see if I can do it. Yeah, there you go. So I'm going to be showing you how to do the bechamel sauce and turn it into a lasagna. So yesterday I made the chunky bolognese and I'm using that to turn it into a lasagna tonight. So the bechamel sauce is really easy. There's two different recipes. One's a 600 gram one and one's a litre of sauce. So it's super easy to do. I'm actually also going to do it with almond milk. Come on. With almond milk instead of normal milk to make it almost dairy free. But I'm going to use lactose free cheese. So it says 50 to 70 grams of cheddar cheese. I'm just using lactose free cheese. So we go next. We're going to just chop that for 5 seconds on speed 7. And I loved being able to do this too. I actually did a whole block. I did the other half of the block beforehand. So that's 250 grams of cheese. So we're going to, that's just done that. So we're going to pop the butter in now. So 40 grams of butter. Pop that in. 500 grams of milk. As I said, I'm going to use almond milk. So I've got a mixture of Milk Lab and the Nutty Bruce milk. I have done it with this before and it works. You could probably use soy milk. You'd want like a thicker milk if you can, one that does well in a coffee. So that's where Bonsoy is really good if you do want dairy free. I'm going to just use gluten-free plain flour. I've literally just done a straight swap. There is a little bit of salt in this, which is the next step. So I didn't have to wait out. So then we've got half a teaspoon of salt. I leave out the pepper. I'm not a huge fan of pepper, and neither are the kids. 1 pinch of nutmeg. So I'm going to put it in my hand so it doesn't get overpowering. Go next, pop the lid on, and it's already got the temperature set for 100 and we're in thicken mode already. So when I turn that on, it'll judge how much is in there and it tells us 12 minutes. So that's as easy as it is. Then once that's done, I will show you the consistency and put it all together as a lasagna. So that's it. Naomi, did you want me to show you the coconut yogurt that you're about to make?
Yeah, I've got some bits and pieces here I can show, but if there's anything extra you've got to add, yeah. But yeah, so basically
Mary's that's it there. So it's like a really creamy, really nice creamy coconut yogurt. It's delicious. And it's so easy to make in the Thermi.
Cool. Thank you.
No worries.
Hi, everyone. My name's Naomi and I'm a local team leader down in the Illawarra, Wollongong area, as well as Elizabeth. And tonight I'm going to show you the quick, one of my favourite functions from the TM 31 days, the good old turbo. Just going to make a quick cater with the function. I'm just trying to set up this a little bit. It's a little bit tall for me. It's making me look very tall. Yeah, so we're going to make a quick cater, and then I'm going to show you some bits and pieces with yogurt as well, which is really exciting. So I've loved this recipe. And it's basically 4 ingredients, which is really, really easy. So 40 grams of fresh coconut. So you can either use, I actually went and bought some fresh coconut with the kids today. You can actually just use desiccated coconut too if you actually don't have fresh coconut. So we just want to tear on the scales, do it to 40 grams. Press next. We've got your raw almonds. You can use just raw or activated almonds as well, which is really nice. Some yummy middle dates. And then 1 apple of your choice. I like to do pink ladies personally. So pop that in here. So the recipe is CADA, so it's just CADA. So coconut, apple, dates, and almonds, or the other way around. Yeah, and then you basically pop the lid on because it just wants to chop it now. And this is your turbo. So with your turbo function, you can actually set it for 1 second increments, or click that and set it for 2. And then I should have said loud, sorry. It probably cuts out for you guys. But yeah, you can keep it as chunky or as fine. I probably should have do that. That's probably just how I like it. 4 seconds later. Look at that. Yum. And I just put that in a container in the fridge and I eat it with my yogurt for breakfast. It's really delicious. It's one of my staple go-to breakfasts. It's really yummy. One of the other things that I wanted to show you, so your turbo is great for like cutting something really quick. Even you can use your turbo to give it your bowl a quick wash as well. That's probably one of my favourites. Go over to here, and now we're going to go to sorry, it's so funny when you're on someone else's machine and you can't find. Oh, no, it's not coming up. I'll just type in the recipe. Sorry. Yeah, it's not coming up. It's just coming up with that screen. Huh. Yeah, that's okay. We're just going to quickly type it in.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there. Yeah, that was weird. Oh, the internet was catching up with us too fast. Oh, look, it's gone to banana bread. Just bear with us a sec. I did it again, Elizabeth. So sorry, guys. I will just search for it quickly. It's all right. Coconut yogurt. There it is. Click on it. Don't know what's. Maybe come back to me. I'm just going to play with this and figure out what's happening with the internet, and I will try to fix this.
All right. Mary, how's your sauce coming along? Probably not ready yet.
I've still got 8 minutes, so it's about to take off. If you can hear it, it sounds like a jet plane. It's going to take off. It's basically, I can show you what's happening inside, I think. I don't think it'll cause too much carnage. Give me a second. No, it'll splash us. Let me see, hang on. Let me see if I can show you.
Probably not a good idea to take the lid off while it's hot and splashing everywhere.
It's slowed down. So it's nice and it's getting nice and thick now. So yeah, it's super easy because I was talking to someone about this today too. And I remember when I used to make bechamel sauce by hand, it was a nightmare, and your arm would end up getting sore because you've got to put the right amount of flour and then add a tiny little bit of milk at a time. And it's, you know, it's such a labor intensive thing by hand, but then this is so simple. Like I've literally just put everything in there. And yeah, it's so easy. But that's, you know what, actually, that's one of the things I love about being a consultant and having become a team leader is all of the stuff that I've learned. Like I wasn't this creative before a Thermomix, definitely. And even before becoming a consultant, I was still quite, I guess I would say reserved. I wasn't very adventurous in what I would cook. Naomi, you let us know when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
You're
Sorry.
good.
When
No
you
worries.
use someone else's machine. Yeah, I agree with 100% Mary. Like just all the different stuff that I've learned along the way. It's yeah, it's very inspiring, especially coconut yogurt, which now I'm going to show you here. So I've got a couple of different steps. So found the right recipe, start cooking. We're going to do 400 grams of canned coconut milk. So I've just got coconut milk like stirred, ready to pour in. Spatula in there to get that. And then you're also going to do 400 grams of coconut cream. So that one. So next. So I love coconut yogurt, and really excited to show you guys this recipe. All right, 3 teaspoons of arrowroot starch. So it's basically just like your powder, and you can use tapioca as well. I've already pre-measured, so I'm just going to pop that in. 3 teaspoons of agar-agar. So this is like in most health food shops, and it's just like a white little powder. And then 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. So just grab a quick, I thought I grabbed my tablespoon. Oh, yeah.
A little tip, you can actually use the measuring cup on the top of the Thermomix as a tablespoon if you ever are in need of a tablespoon.
Oh, that's cool.
The divot in it, that hole down the bottom, the whole entire hole is 1 tablespoon.
Oh, amazing. That's so cool. Thanks for that tip. And then you literally pop your lid on. Just going to pop that lid on. And then we go 10 minutes, 80 degrees, and on speed 3.5. But I did prepare one earlier as well. So once it's got to cool them for about an hour and a half. You then pop in your probiotics. Now, these are really good shelf life ones. And you can also get ones from the in the cold section, but I just literally open these and pop these in. Then we went to here. We went and you for the final stage is you pop it in your white thermoserver, which fits nicely in the top of this and sits on top like that, and then it ferments overnight. So I usually, and it goes for about 10 hours. So this is something that I always do overnight because I'm using my Thermomix throughout the day as well. One thing that I absolutely love, my kids love yogurt, and they are lactose free. So the price of lactose free yogurt is quite expensive, and these are some of the little ones that I've made. You can see here, and I've just decorated one that are lactose free that my boys absolutely love and smash. So you can buy these from the mix shop as well. And if you don't have a white thermoserver, just like Megan has popped in the chat there, you can use one of your stainless steel ones as well. I just thought I'd show off the lovely white one. But yeah, otherwise I do it straight into my jars as well. So, and that's what they look like inside. And it's vanilla bean. So yum, these are lactose free. So you can experiment with a whole heap of different types of yogurts with your fermentation mode as well. So yeah, just thought we'll show you a little bit in a snapshot. But thank you. Okay, so I'll pass it back over.
Okay, I've knocked it when I had 3 minutes left. So I've now got, I reckon I've got 1 minute left, but I'll just turn it off. So normally it would turn itself off, obviously. So it's done the bechamel. So obviously you pop your lasagna together and then just, this is not very exciting. I'm sure you've all done this, but then just pop your bechamel on top. So it's a really nice thick consistency. And if I hadn't knocked the thing, probably would have been a little bit thicker as well. But just so you can see, it does work well with almond milk if you've got dairy intolerances or you're trying to cut it out. Yeah, so you just do that and then obviously layer your lasagna like that and then all done. That's pretty easy, thickening mode. And you can do custards. Hollandaise sauce is another great one for thickening mode. Makes super simple. That's it for me.
Awesome. I think we're ready to go back to Jody.
Very good.
Ready, Jody? Hold on.
I'm here. Where am I? Spotlight me. We've got Elman as well, spotlighted. Hang on a second. There we go. No, you do it, Kate.
This is what happens when two people take control.
Yep.
All right, away you go.
Cool. So I'm going to show you two more modes. I am going to show you the kneading mode and then the fermentation mode. So I'm making a spiced fruit loaf, which is in our anniversary celebration cookbook. It's not on Cookie Do, but it will be, I think, down the track. It is an amazing recipe. I've kind of tweaked it a little bit. I've already heated up my my milk, water, honey, and yeast in the bowl. And I don't know if we've shown the scales mode tonight, have we, girls? I think we've just kind of made an assumption that everyone knows about the scales. There may be some people here that haven't seen the Thermomix before. So
I weighed my potatoes, Jody.
Oh, did you? Okay. All right. Well, here's our scales again. And I'm just going to put in 500 grams of baker's flour. So I'm just pouring that in the top of my bowl. So our scales weigh to the 1 gram and super accurate for baking, etc. So where are we? Almost there. A little bit over. All right. And then I'm going to put in, I've got this amazing spice that I use at Christmas time. I call it Christmas in a jar, but it's our Christmas spice. So I'm going to put in a teaspoon of that. You can find the recipe on Cookie Do. And then 2 teaspoons of cinnamon and 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. And then I'm just going to quickly, I want a teaspoon of salt as well. And then I'm going to turn on the kneading mode. So the dough mode it's called. So straight here. So I want to, actually, I'm just going to go back because I want to mix it up first. So I just want to mix it for 6 seconds on speed 6. There we go. And then I'm going to turn the dough mode on and I want to knead it now for 3 minutes. And while it's kneading, I will show you the rest. So again, I'm just going to turn the dial and inside of my Thermomix, my blades are just turning in one direction and then turning in the opposite direction and kneading that dough together. And when the 3 minutes is up, actually before the 3 minutes is up, I'm going to put my fruit in. So I've got some cranberries, some apricots under here, and then also some currants. Now the recipe in this actually tells you to put the dough on your mat and then knead through your fruit, but I am a little bit lazy when it comes to doing things with my hands too much. So I just put the fruit in the bowl and let it knead. So I'll do that in a second. And then I'm just going to, I've got my mat here. And the next thing we're going to do with the dough when that's finished is we are going to ferment it using the fermentation mode. We're going to use the Varoma and heat it up like that. So I've got 2 minutes of kneading. Does Ellen want to show us her rice? Is it finished or?
Yeah, yes. There you go. So there's the rice, nice and steaming in the thermo server. And it's basically the same when you use the rice cooker. It's basically the same as if you would have boiled rice on the stovetop, except that you don't have to worry about burning or you forget about it and it's black. So this one will stop when it's done. Another tip that you can do when you use basmati rice, you can add a teaspoon of lemon juice in there and it'll make it whiter as well. Right, so that is a nice rice that you've made. And there's different rices will take different times. So just have a look and play around with how you like and what your preference is for your the end result of your rice and adjust accordingly. Right, so this one is fantastic. Love that.
Right, you can spotlight it again. I'm good. Here we go. I'm going to pour out my dough onto my mat. So I put my fruit in and I just tip that out and then just use the bottom of my blades to unhook that from inside my jug. I'll get a spatula. Go. Now, if you've got dough stuck all over your blades just like this, instead of trying to fiddle around with getting it out, just pop your bowl back onto your base and just turn your blades to a high speed for a couple of seconds. Even speed 7 is fine, just for a couple of seconds, and it will just flick all the rest of that dough off around the wall of your Thermomix. So you can do that with anything. It's good with cakes and chocolates and things like that. So you don't lose everything that is around your blades. All right. So there's my dough. And right. So I'm just going to wrap it up. It's a very sticky dough, this one. So you can see all that fruit is all around the outside. And as the bread grows and proves, it will all grow into there. So I'm just going to wrap that up for a second. And I'm going to pop this bowl on here, my nice clean bowl. And so I've just got filled with water up to, it's probably between the bottom and the 1 litre mark. Now I'm going to use, this is what I use for fermentation. So Emma was talking before about using lemon juice. I saw someone in the chat asked if you could use vinegar instead. I wouldn't use vinegar, use either lemon juice or you can use this. So when making yogurts and doing sous vide and stuff like that, this is really quite good. All you need is a teaspoon. So I'm going to put about a teaspoon in, and then we just want our varoma. So just wrap up your dough nice and tight in there. Pop it in your varoma. Lid on. And sit it on top. Now, the reason you would use the fermentation mode to prove your dough is if you live in Canberra and it's freezing cold and you want it to happen, then you would do that. Or if you want it to happen a little bit quicker. So we just go to our fermentation mode. Again, here it tells us that we can cook our yogurt, prove our bread, and the temperatures we can use. We don't want to prove it for 8 hours. We just reduce it right down to 1. There we go. And then I think proving your bread in between 60 and 65, maybe 70 if you're in a hurry, you can. I'm just going to leave it at 60 degrees and then I'm going to turn it on. So what happens is we get a temperature happening in the jug that it will get to that temperature and then it will just stay there. So once it reaches 60 degrees, the blades will stop turning and the Thermomix will keep the water at the optimum temperature for as long as you want. And so that's how come when you're making yogurts and stuff like that, it stays at that temperature and you can not worry about it. You can just leave it and yeah, and that's the fermentation mode. So we're not going to wait until this bread ferments, where I will post pictures. We'll send an email with all the recipes and things like that that we've used today. and picture of the bread. But yeah, if you're in a hurry or if it's really cold, it's a great way to prove your bread. And that's me. Oh, honeycomb, hang on. Got dough on my fingers. Let me just get it. Wait, over to you for a second, Kate.
All right. Does anyone else that presented tonight, do we need to come back to anyone? Have I forgotten anyone? We're all good. Awesome. So when just about finished up, we'll just wait for Jody's honeycomb, wherever she may be. I did put in the chat, so the thermomats that Jody just used, if you don't have one and you do plan on making, or you do make a lot of bread, definitely talk to your consultant about hosting, because you can get one as a host reward. They're really, really great to have. They're sort of a must.
All right, it's not ready, but I'll show you. So you can tap, if you tap on it, it should sound really, really hollow, but there's a little bit broken off. So these molds are really cool. You can get these in our mix shop as well. And it is definitely not ready. So I'm just going to leave it. Otherwise I'll have a crumbly mess. Maybe I should break it apart and then it can just go in ice cream or something like that. So yeah, give honeycomb a go. If you haven't done it already, give it a crack, but really let it cool right down before you break it apart. And then dip it in some chocolate or something like that. And if you're in Canberra, we're going to be making this again at our cooking class, which is next Thursday night. If you're in Wollongong, when are you guys doing honeycomb at your class? I'm not sure. But it's next Thursday as well, isn't it? Or is that Sydney? Anyway, we have cooking classes, Made with Love cooking classes coming up. So if you're local, get along.
We're on the 2nd of December in Wollongong.
Very good.
And Sydney's the 15th in Narellan.
There you go. Awesome.
So we might make sure that the links for those cooking classes are in the email that we send out tomorrow as well. So you can book into those if you'd like to come along to a face-to-face class, because they're always lots of fun. And if you think that we've had an absolute ball here tonight, because obviously we have, you could always consider joining the team. One of us would love to have you on our team. You can soon learn to use your Thermomix like a pro and be up here presenting with us too, if that's something you might be interested in. So have a chat with your consultant.
And look at all these Thermomixes you could have. We've all got multiple.
And also don't feel like you have to know how to do everything, because I most definitely did not when I said, yes, I will be a consultant. And then not long after I became a team leader. So there's lots of opportunities that I did not see coming since I said yes to Thermomix. So definitely don't discount it just because you don't feel like you're ready or you don't think that you know enough or are enough. If you love your Thermomix or you're curious to learn more, definitely speak to your team leader or your consultant, and they can help you learn what it's about.
Just while we're here, Jody, you've got your little vacuum cleaner there. So we also have that as a host reward too. So just give us a little demo of that. Only until, when is it till, guys? The end of
20, I'm pretty sure it's the 22nd of December.
22nd.
Okay,
22nd
cool.
December.
22nd.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our little mini Cobalt vacuum cleaner. It has like a little stand that you just hook it onto. So great for your caravan if you're a caravaner, Karen Dunn. And you can host a cooking experience and get one of these at a discount. You can also buy them in our mix shop. But they're really great for cleaning up little messes in your kitchen, for chasing after your kids around your kitchen. If you spill flour or something on your bench, you can do that. My 7-year-old likes to run around the house pretending he's helping us clean with this, and it gets into all the little corners and stuff. So I thought I might vacuum up some of my honeycomb crumb, but then no, I'm not going to do that. I'll eat it. So it's not too noisy either. It's, you know, it's really good. Very good. So host reward. There we go.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Jody. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. If you do have any questions, we will stay on just for a little bit. Otherwise, yeah, feel free to get in touch with your consultant. If you do want to book, if you do want to buy, if you do want to come and join us. Yeah,
Do
thanks again.
you want to
guys.
quickly tell them about the different delivery events that we've got now?
You can go ahead, Mary.
Thanks so much. There's a bust, lay down. So basically now what we used to do was we would always do a vegetable stock paste so that you can do what we call now the first cook, so that you can learn how to use your Thermomix for the first time with us there cooking. What we're offering now, though, because we've seen a lot of people that have either upgraded from a previous model, whether it be a TM31 or a TM5, or even getting a second TM6. So essentially you already know how to cook with it, and you might have already made the vegetable stock paste. So now what we offer is we're offering recipe conversion classes or a cookie do session, a meal planning session, or you can also choose another dish to cook. So I think it's good that they've introduced the different delivery events, because at least then you get some different options. So definitely if you're keen to do a recipe conversion or a video advanced cookie do class, definitely reach out to your consultant as well.
And yeah, don't be afraid. Like with me, I was a TM31 owner and consultant, and then I had a couple of years break, and then I came back and am loving the TM6. And I'm also loving all the extra little incentives and freebies that I've been getting along the way. So that has really made my day. So yeah, thanks all for coming, and yeah, let us know or reach out to your consultant if you want more information on coming on board. So pass it back over to Kate.
I already finished up before, and then we've been adding all this other stuff. So yeah, thanks again, everyone. We will stay on if you do have any questions.
You want to keep recording or stop recording?
I'm about to stop.